Lemming Report on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by the U.S. Army. There's strong, then there's Army Strong. Learn more about the strength behind the uniform at GoArmy.com.
All right, we are back here on the Lemming Report. We've been talking running backs the whole show, and now it's time to give you Tom's top 10 at the position for this year's class. We started off at number 10, Jonathan Hillman out of nearby St. Peter's Prep across the river here in New Jersey. And he's going to be staying close to home, committed to Rutgers, Tom. Powerfully built. Is he the next Ray Rice? Because Savon Huggins hasn't become that.
I think he certainly is. He benches 345 pounds, runs through the tackles like butter through, like a knife through butter. He's got good moves for a big guy, and he runs a 10,900 meters. I really like him a lot. He was a member of our junior All-America team that met us out in Paramus, New Jersey last November. There you go. Now he needs to be an All-American again and beyond. Now to number 9. Number 9 is Joe Mixon, 6'2", uncommitted at the moment. Top schools, though, about as spread out as possible. Oklahoma, Cal, Wisconsin, Florida, Oregon. Tom, where do you see him going? You know what? I think he's going to stay on the West Coast. Oregon is always a good bet for California running back, and he's big. Look at him. He runs well. He runs straight up and down, but he's got the 10,900 meter speed that can really change the course of the game. He's not a real power runner. If you had him name a slasher out of these top 10, he'd be the slasher. He's more than a one-cut back, and once he gets into the open field, he's normally gone. You can see here he's a short strider, but he's got great speed and great vision and balance. All right, might fight for playing time going to Oregon, though, with right now you got your whole backfield loaded there with Black Mamba as well as Thomas Tyner. Next at number 8, it is Shai McKenzie, finished with over 2,600 yards as a junior, good for second in his league's history. Seems to be leaning toward Virginia Tech at the moment, maybe Pitt, other schools. Tom, what do you think? You know what? Wherever he goes, you watch. He's going to start as a freshman. I love this guy. I think he's the biggest sleeper of the group. 6 foot, over 200 pounds. He's got great moves, great vision, great balance, strength, and he does a great job of finishing off his runs. I think he's one of the premier players in the country. All right. That's why he's in your top 10 running backs. Coming in now at number 7, we have Bo Scarbrough, expected to join a crowded backfield in Tuscaloosa. Now, of all the stud running backs to star for Nick Saban the past few years, Tom, which one does he remind you of? You know, I would say none of them. He's a little bit different. He's an athlete, linebacker, running back. He's got great hands. He's a little bit bigger than Mark Ingram was coming out of high school. Doesn't have Mark's explosive moves, but what he does have is strength. He runs through tackles easily. He's got real strong legs. He finishes off his runs well, punishes defenders for the run. And he's got 10,900 meter speed, 11,100 meter speed, so he's not that slow, but he's a guy that I think could be a big fullback or a one-back, or possibly even move to linebacker, but he's got the skills. All right, looked a little more like Eddie Lacy to me. At number 6, we have Jaylen Herdt. You sat down with him in Nashville last year. You have him listed at 6'3", but you compared him to Beanie Wells. Is there a natural comparison here for him? Only because his size and production with Beanie Wells, who's very productive coming out of Ohio. You know, he's got the build of Eric Dickerson. I was surprised how big he was. He almost looked like an outside linebacker when I saw him. You can see here he's got the speed. Again, Eric Dickerson straight up and down style, except Eric ran a 10,400 meters and he runs a 10.8, so not quite as fast. But in that Central Tennessee part, there's no one better than him. He's the player of the year in the state of Tennessee. And Tennessee's got themselves a real good back. I know other schools like Alabama and Ole Miss are recruiting him for other positions, but Tennessee promised them they'll keep him at tailback. All right, Tennessee has produced a few in recent years. Down now to our top 5, and next we have Dalvin Cook. He's expected to go to Florida, where they have a number of your former All-Americans, and he's used to sharing the backfield if he has to do that at the collegiate level. Currently playing with Joseph Yearby, a guy who just missed your top 10 here. You know what? That's a great point. This is the best backfield in high school football. At Miami Central, they play great competition. In South Florida, it's one of the premier teams in the country. Dalvin Cook is a bigger back, almost 200 pounds. Great strength, great speed, great vision, balance. This guy can cut on a dime, and he has that explosive speed at 10,700 meters to take the ball distance every time he has it. Yearby is sort of his slashing type to his power back, but both of them are great backs, and it's like apples and oranges when you have to choose among two great backs at one particular high school. Yeah, they prefer thunder and lightning, though, to apples and oranges. At number 4,
Nathan Starks, he's having some eligibility issues right now, but still drawing interest from top schools, even Notre Dame, along with Oklahoma, Alabama, USC on his list. Are the off-field issues going to hurt his stock, considering the environment we're in right now?
It'll hurt it a little bit, but schools, for me, if he's got great talent, somebody's going to have room for him. And he's got great talent. I saw him out at Bishop Gorman in April, and he's one of the 2 premier backs in the West. Had to move to Cherry Creek High School in Colorado. He's now, because of the transfer and suspension at Bishop Gorman, he has to sit out the first 3 games. But believe me, he's going to have over 30 offers, and once he gets his head straight, I think he could become a premier player as a true freshman. Yeah,
well, he got the field in front of him straight all the way to the end zone. Coming in at number 3, we talked to him just a few minutes ago, Elijah Hood decided he is going to stay close to home after originally verbal to Notre Dame, now committed to North Carolina. You made that comparison to Cedric Benson before. Explain.
Well, you know what? Cedric Benson was real strong in the legs, a power back with 900-meter speed, great production. And Elijah, look at that. Change of direction's pretty good, but he's more of a straight ahead. This is the power runner with great inside moves. He accelerates quickly, as you can see right here. It's a big guy. This is a guy over 220 pounds right now, running away from some very fast and athletic DBs. He lowers his shoulder and he pounds defenders, and he can also, you know what, I think he's a guy that can also take the ball to distance on almost every time he carries the ball.
That's what you want. At number 2, it's Sony Michel, my favorite name in the entire class. We talked about him in the first show that we had this year. Been on the national radar since he was in middle school, and he's committed to Georgia, where they like their running backs. If you haven't noticed, perhaps you're going to have to extend that nickname Gershel. How does he fit into the future plans there?
I think he's going to play. I predicted Todd Gurley would start as a freshman, and I'm predicting that he's going to also see a lot of playing time as a freshman. This guy is 205 pounds, 600 meters. He's completely healthy. Again, plays in South Florida like Dalvin Cook and Joe Yearby against great competition every single week. And every week he's over 100 yards and averaging over a first down a carry. He's a remarkable ball player, and I think a ball player that should become an immediate star at Georgia by the September of 2014. All
right, Gershel Shell. And finally, at number 1, he is your top player at any position. We spoke to him in week 1, Leonard Fournette, 6'1", 230, runs a 4.35, and what a big surprise, he's down to Alabama and LSU.
Well, look at the hands on this guy. I sat down and watched his first 6 games last year with him and his coach. You wouldn't believe he's 230 pounds, running a 4.39 40, as you can see here, against another great team. He's got great hands, great speed. He's also an outstanding blocker. He returns kickoffs and punts for touchdowns. A back like this comes along once every 5 years. A 230-pounder who can run a 4.39, averages 11.5 yards per carry, make one-handed catches look routine. He does everything, and if he stays healthy, I believe he'll be a Heisman candidate by his junior year.
All right, Tom, great players, great stuff. Can't wait to see how they develop. And coming up next, we'll talk to a guy who will be tasked to stop some of those running backs. A defensive end by the name of Nephi Laylau joins us next, and he's got big news. We'll be right back.